Bye. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Knock Knock Eye with me, your host, Dr. Glockenflecken. This, of course, is your one-stop shop for all things eyeball related. And today, our eyeball topic is going to be all things presbyopia. Now, I know that doesn't sound exciting, but when you consider that presbyopia affects 100% of people, if you live long enough, it's an important topic. And there's a new medication that's out, and I've got some thoughts about how we are trying to treat this thing. So anyway, I'll get to that after the first break. But first, just a few random thoughts. This is random things. Okay. First of all, I made the Maha crowd angry again. I keep doing this. The Make America Healthy Again, the RFK Jr. acolytes. It's no surprise. I'm not a fan. Not a fan. And the most recent thing is I've been a little bit more vocal in my criticism of this idea of that doctors are not interested in finding the root cause of disease. Not just doctors, but just the healthcare system in general. We are not interested in looking for and uncovering the mythical root cause of disease. So I made a video where it's all satire and I'm making jokes. I'm trying to find a rootier cause for the disease. And things are setting me off, seeing root beer at the store and seeing a weed that has roots in it on outside on the gravel. I know, stupid stuff. Anyway, people didn't like it. Oh yeah, people loved it. It was a very popular video, but the people that I guess I was pointing my criticism toward did not like it. And, I don't really care. Sometimes I put a video out and some of the negative, the criticism, sometimes it gets to me. Sometimes I do feel bad if I put a video out there. It's been a while since this has happened, but if I put a video out and a group of people, or just in general, just people take issue with it, or I said something incorrect, or I offended somebody I wasn't trying to offend. If I'm trying to offend you, then there's probably a good reason why I'm trying to do that. But sometimes I'm not trying to offend certain people and they get offended by it. That sometimes that affects me. I do feel sad. I have a conscience. I want the right people to get upset at my content. That's important. It's okay to want to make some people upset as long as it's the right people. But in this case, I'm fine with it. The root cause, it drives me crazy. I'm seeing it all the time, and it's just it's so disrespectful to the number of years of education that we undergo. And honestly, the whole the quote, treating the root cause, it's a trope that's used in alternative medicine, integrative, functional, wellness influencers, chiropractic manipulation in every respect. It's used by those areas to sow distrust in mainstream medicine. That's the bottom. That's what it is, and that's what RFK is using it as. It's I don't even know if he knows what he's talking about, asking for people to uncover the root cause of disease. What do you think we've been trying to do? And it's is there? Do you think there's a chemical that's going to be that's it? If we find this chemical, it is all disease is solved. I just don't get it. It's what do you think we've been doing? What modern medicine has been trying to do is just treat disease. That's right. And that's the other issue, right? He in particular, and because he's said this, doesn't think that we are trying to treat disease, which he thinks we're trying to make people sick and keep people sick because that's how we make money. And I've talked about this recently, so I'm not going to go into it. But anyway, I was just like, I find myself getting very, very irritated every time. Like the root cause that is this dog whistle thing that's just like all the wellness influencers just latch onto, and that's all they're talking about. So anyway, I'm gonna keep trying to find the root cause, you guys. Someday I'll find it. I don't know. I don't know where. Um, Dentists, they deal with roots. They do root canals. Maybe they have an idea. Ask a dentist. I am getting a cleaning not too long from now. So actually, it's going to be a podcast, Laughing My Gas Off. I don't know if you guys have heard of that podcast. I'm going to be on it. So anyway, I'm excited about that, considering I hate the dentist. All right, other things, random thoughts. Just in the same vein as this root cause stuff. I'm just going to say it again. Chiropractors must be stopped. I just right before I started recording this, I was scrolling on TikTok, which I try not to do too often, because sometimes it's hard to stop scrolling. And I found a chiropractor who was cracking like toddler spines. Honest to God, toddlers. They could barely walk. And then another one, there's like babies. They're just like manipulating pieces of baby spines. How is this legal? That's my question. How is that legal? And regardless, just putting it on social media, it's like you're filming child abuse. That's what it looks like. It's like, what in what world is like a normal healthy kid need like spinal manipulation? Why does anybody ever need spinal manipulation? Well, they really don't. They don't. It makes me sick. It's gross. It's gross to see that and to think that like the chiropractors, their message reaches people and they can brainwash people into thinking that their kids need this, that they need this. And then they end up with carotid artery dissections, Horner syndrome, and terrible things can happen from there. So anyway, chiropractors, they must be stopped. Not sure how to stop them, but let's legislate the hell out of them. I don't know, but at least can we stop like seeing it on social media? Like I honestly like it should be a rules and what do you call them? Rules and regulation violation, community guidelines. That's what it is. It feels like a community guidelines violation when you see a chiropractor cracking baby spines. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. You know, if you're a grown adult and you can do research for yourself and you can like think that you need spinal manipulation by a chiropractor, you are a grown adult. You have a fully functioning frontal lobe. Go for it. You do you. You do the thing that you think you need. That's fine. All right. But it's kids. Like, come on. Like, they don't know. They don't know what's going on. It's gross. I don't like it. I don't like it. Another video I saw right before this is in front of my mind is somebody, just to lift up the mood a little bit, is I saw a video of somebody receiving their MCAT score and they were very happy about it. And like, it brought me back to when I found my score. I remember this vividly. So right after my MCAT, by the way, I took the very last paper and pencil MCAT. So that's something. Anyway, so I was in a big auditorium with like 200 people. We were all taking this paper and pencil test. And it was so hard. Even to this day, the hardest test beyond step 1, step 2, step 3, board certification exams, oral, written, all this. The MCAT still the hardest test I have ever taken in my life. And I remember afterwards, I went into my dorm room and I just laid down in the dark in the middle of the day until the next day. I was like, I would never say I was clinically depressed. I've never been clinically depressed, but that is in my life. That's as close as I can imagine being, like satisfying the clinical criteria of clinical depression. Like that is as close as I have ever gotten in my life. I was in a dark place there for like 24 hours. And then Kristen, Lady Glockenflecken, she pulled me out of it. She's like, stop it. She literally said that. Stop it. Let's go eat some pizza or something. So anyway, and then it was like 4 weeks or so, 6 weeks before the scores came back. I remember getting the email in class. It was in the middle of class, and I just left. I was like in the middle of the row. I had to step over people. I could not wait another 20 minutes before the class ended. I was like, I have to find this out now. I cannot concentrate on anything else. My score is in. And I went and I looked at it and I got a 31, which in the old scoring system, I don't know what that correlates to, but it was a good score. It's like I was comfortably able to get into a lot of schools with a score of 31. And so I was very happy, but man, the feeling walking out of the MCAT, like a gut punch. It's like, what the hell did I just take? I was convinced I did horrible, but one thing I've learned is that most of the time, not all the time, most of the time, it's not as bad as you think it is. It's not as, and I tell myself that. And Kristen, even to this day, she still tells me this. She's like, it's not as bad as you think it is. Because your mind just wants to go to the worst case scenario for everything. And I do this with surgical complications too. Like even to this day, like I don't have complications very often, but they happen because when you're a surgeon, if you operate, you're going to have complications. I still tell myself this, like, well, you know what? I did the best I could. The complication happened. It's not as bad as I think it's going to be. And almost 100% of the time, it's true. It's not as bad. The patient will do just fine. Human body is resilient. All right, let's take a break. Hey, Kristen.
Yeah.
I almost did not get out of bed this morning to record.
Why is that? Were you tired?
The Cozy Earth sheets.
Oh.
They're incredible.
They really are.
I never knew that sheets could be this comfortable.
They're probably the best sheets we've ever had.
Like I get in bed at night and like the stress from the day just melts off my body and is replaced by Cozy Earth.
That's right.
I want Cozy Earth to cover my skin at all times.
Oh, wow.
Like clothes, blankets.
Yeah.
The sheets, everything.
They make it possible, I guess, to just drape yourself in Cozy Earth. And why wouldn't you?
I would love that. And I want our audience to feel that too.
Okay.
And right now you get a risk-free purchase.
That's right.
100-night sleep trial and a 10-year warranty.
You don't like it? You're not out anything.
Head to CozyEarth.com and use my code KNOCK for 40% off because your bed should be more than a place to sleep. It should be your happy place. Cozy Earth makes that possible. Okay, guys, this is your eyeball topic. Stay with me on this one, okay? Because it's important. It affects every one of you. If you are listening to this, you will someday, if not already, be affected by presbyopia. So presbyopia, I'll just physiologically, let's tell you what this is. So let's say you have perfect vision, all right? If you're myopic, you put your glasses on, well, then you have perfect vision, okay? So let's go from that baseline, your baseline of the best vision you could possibly get. When you're in your 20s and 30s, even teens, like basically up until the age of 40, you have this remarkable ability to look in the distance and then focus your eyes up close. And when you're like 20 years old, you can focus up to your nose. You can do this all day. You can look at something 3 inches in front of your face. You can read a textbook. You can read anything. You can look at your phone all day. No issues. And the way you're doing that, like physiologically, what happens is you are contracting little muscles in the ciliary body inside your eye. All right. So the ciliary body, it sits kind of right behind your iris, kind of right next to the lens inside the eye. It's this little clump of tissue that has muscle in it, smooth muscle. And whenever you focus, you are contracting that muscle. And what that does is it releases tension on the lens inside your eye, allows that lens to change shape. It becomes more spherical. And what that does is it moves your focal point forward. So you contract your muscle, releases tension on the lens changes shape, and your focal point, where you see things in focus, goes from distance, 20 feet away, up to titrate it, whatever you want, 3 feet, 2 feet, 1 foot, 1 inch. All right. So that's the normal mechanism. Now, as you get older, and this really starts in your 30s, but it usually doesn't hit you until like your 40s, 50s. That muscle atrophies, that ciliary muscle that you're contracting, that sets this whole plan in motion to be able to focus up close. That muscle atrophies. And it atrophies so much that you all of a sudden, it'll just hit you one day. And you just, wow, why is this blurry up close? That's usually the complaint I get from people. It's like, whoa, it's just like last week. I was like, all of a sudden I can't like see up close. I mean, it doesn't always hit people like immediately like that, but it can. But that's what's happening is that muscle atrophies and eventually you reach this threshold where, all of a sudden, like where I usually hold my phone to read, I can't do that comfortably anymore. You find yourself straining. You get this brow ache. You're right above your eyebrows. That's why just like this headache from trying to look up close at something all day. And that's the process called presbyopia. And it affects everybody. There are things that are certain in life, like paying taxes, death, and presbyopia. There's a third one that nobody ever remembers. Yeah, death and taxes, but like presbyopia is the third one. Why don't people include this? I do. No one seems to care, but it's a problem, and it's like there's a couple of holy grail things in every specialty, right? These are like either procedures or diseases or something that you're constantly trying so hard to treat or fix. I can think of 2 in ophthalmology. All right. Holy grail conditions. One is optic nerve damage. So whole eye transplants, trying to recover optic nerve function from a variety of different problems. Ischemic optic neuropathy is basically you torch the optic nerve. I mean, this is not just the optic nerve, it's the central nervous system, right? We can't yet like put nerves back together and have them function normally. Like that hasn't been done yet. At least, central nerves. Same thing with the optic nerve, all right? We can't transplant a whole eye because we can't get the optic nerve to function again. But people are working on it. It's the holy grail. It's like we're just trying to eventually get there. Well, I would say the other one that's more attainable, but not quite, is presbyopia. Because this is something that bothers people and it affects everyone, as I already mentioned, right? I am almost 40. It's going to hit me like a ton of bricks because I have never had glasses. I see perfect. I remind my family that I see perfect all the time. All right. My wife, who's a -3.5, she loves it. She loves it so much that I always tell her, well, I don't know. I have perfect vision. I can see that just great. But for me, see, I have great vision in my youth. But once I hit that presbyopic age where that muscle atrophies so much where I can't read up close, I'm going to have the biggest crash out meltdown you've ever seen in your life. Even though I know it's coming, it's going to be really hard for me because my whole life I have never had to wear glasses. I can see anything just fine, but it's coming for me. It's coming for me like grim death. It's coming. And grim death has already had me once. So you'd think I'd be okay with this, but I'm already semi crashing out about it right now. You can tell. I'm pressed. I'm anxious. I don't want to wear reading glasses. And that's how a lot of my patients feel. Right. And so there's been a ton of resources in the world of ophthalmology on trying to fix this. How do we basically, if I could sum it up, how do we give people 20-year-old eyes again. And this is something I always caution people when they get cataract surgery. I was like, I cannot give you 20-year-old eyes. Like, we're not there. I cannot give you something. I cannot do a cataract surgery, put a lens in the eye that'll give you an entire range of vision up to your nose. Like, that does not exist right now. All right. Maybe it will someday, but it doesn't right now. But my God, are we trying? Let me tell you how we've tried. We'll start with cataract surgery. Because that was really the first time that once we started to innovate cataract surgery to the place where it is today, where we have plastic lenses we can put in the eye. Well, different companies have worked really hard on trying to do different designs that can actually give people, vision in multiple focal ranges. So we have what are called multifocal intraocular lenses, little plastic lenses. They go in the eye. They have little concentric rings that, honestly, the optics of which I'm still kind of puzzled at how this works, but it does. And it gives people kind of like a range. And there's different forms of this that have varying degrees of success, but they can give people distance vision, kind of arm's length, and then reading. But there's limits to it. All right. Fine print, medication bottles, little tiny things. You're not going to get that. Hence me telling people you're not going to get 20-year-old eyes. Can't do it. All right. We can kind of treat presbyopia with these types of lenses, but it's just not perfect. And more, as more time goes by, people are expecting perfection with cataract surgery. It's actually why I miss Iowa so much, because those farmers, they just want to have 2 eyeballs after surgery. If they have 2 eyeballs, they're great. They're perfect. All right. Here on the West Coast, expectations are a bit higher, and most places around the country. You got to have perfect vision, all distances, see everything without glasses. That's remarkably hard to achieve, but we're trying. But that brings me to the reason I even brought this topic up in the first place, because there's a new medication. So after we've had for years, we've had these IOLs that are trying to accomplish this to varying degrees of success. I go back and forth on these IOLs, by the way. They're like, sometimes I really like them, sometimes I don't. It really depends on whether or not I have a patient that's struggling with them or not. When the patients come back after getting these premium lenses, by the way, they cost like $3,000 to $4,000 per eye. These are very expensive lenses. When they get them and it works great, which I will say most of the time works great, then I'm like, yeah, I want to put these in everybody. Let's do it. But then I have one patient where it doesn't work so great. And usually when it doesn't work, they have lots of halos. They have side effects to the lenses. Maybe didn't quite get the target correct. And they're a little bit subnormal vision. Picking nits a little bit, but I mean, it happens. And, people pay this much money, expectation is going to be through the roof. Right. So I struggle with that, given my Iowa upbringing in the world of ophthalmology. I was like, the high expectations are sometimes a bit too high. So we've had the lenses for a while now, but more recently, companies have been trying to make eye drops that will move your focus, that will treat presbyopia. Presbyopia treating eye drops. So we had Vuity. This was a few years back, and this is a drop that basically just constricted your pupil a little bit. It was like a little bit of pilocarpine. Pilocarpine is a sympathetic agonist, not a sympathetic, a parasympathetic agonist. Gotta get my adrenergic receptors and things, autonomic nervous system correct. It's a parasympathetic agonist. What it does is it helps to constrict people, right? Fight or flight response, sympathetic, your eyes are going to dilate. All right. Parasympathetic, they're going to constrict. And so what the first iteration of these types of treatments did was they constricted the pupil a little bit. And when you constrict the pupil, what it does is it helps to move your focal point a little bit forward. When you accommodate, that's what we're talking about, is when you move your focal point in the distance to near, when you focus up close, that focusing, the fancy term for it is accommodation. So when you accommodate, you're moving that focal point forward, and you're looking at something up close. All right. So what this drop did, Vuity, is it just constricted the pupil slightly, moved the focal point forward, and allowed people to have a little bit better reading vision. But it wore off after 4 hours. You had to keep taking it. It was expensive. It caused redness. People got allergic reactions to it. Also, people would just get headaches because, again, you're constricting muscles in the eye that can cause you to have some strain. So people got headaches with it, and it kind of just flamed out. People didn't like, I mean, it just, they didn't like the cost. That was a big one. Some people really liked the drop, but it was like $80 every month, and it wore off quickly, right? So you had to keep using it. And so it just wasn't, it just petered out, and people stopped. I haven't prescribed it in like 2 years probably. Well, I was just informed by my wonderful wife, hey, look, there's another medication out. This is called Viz. So we had Vuity, and now we got FDA approves presbyopia treatment and a medication called Viz, which is the VIZZ. The generic term is aceclidine, aceclidine, ACECLIDINE. I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with this. It looks like it's just a parasympathomimetic miotic agent, just like Vuity was. And so the point here is that this new medication, it's like the same thing. It's the same thing as Vuity. It's like it's doing the same thing, and it has a reading about it. The trial, they did these phase 3 studies, Clarity trials. The adverse effects were the same thing: 20% irritation, 16% dim vision. People also, that's another reason people don't like these types of medications, these drops that treat presbyopia. It constricts your pupil. Well, what happens? I mean, you need a larger pupil in a dim environment because it allows more light to come in. So if you're like in kind of a dim lighting and you use like say you're at a restaurant and you want to try to read the menu, but you're embarrassed. You want to take out your reading glasses. By the way, don't ever feel embarrassed for pulling out glasses. Glasses are beautiful. You're beautiful. Your eyes are beautiful. That's my uplifting message to you for the day. And enjoy your eyes. All right. And if you need glasses, it's just a disability accommodation. That's it. It's okay to say you have a disability. Disabilities are okay. All right. That's why we have this wonderful thing called glasses that will fix your disability. And so, but dim vision, if you're in a restaurant, dim light, trying to read a menu, you put in a drop that constricts your pupil, it's going to make it even harder to read because you need a larger pupil in dim light, right? Makes sense. Also, headaches, redness to the eye, all these same problems. And so, like, I don't know. What are we doing? It's just, I have it's kind of like a philosophical problem. And I know I just finished like ranting. You know what? Let's take a break. Let's take a break, and I'll finish this up. I'll wrap this up with my thoughts on just this class of treatment options in general. Hey, Kristen, I know I like to talk to you about the little Demodex mites and little tiny guys. Thought we could give that a break and just talk about the eyelid disease that they cause when there's an overgrowth of Demodex.
I like that idea. No mite talk.
So Demodex blepharitis, it gets misdiagnosed because a lot of the symptoms overlap with other eye conditions.
Okay, so what are the top symptoms that people should be looking out for?
Itching, swelling, irritation of the eyelid margin, redness.
Yeah, that kind of sounds like it could be allergies or something else.
Exactly.
Too.
It could be several different things. But the key is if your doctor spots little crusties, they're called collarettes, but they like little crusties. Yeah, exactly. Then that's Demodex blepharitis. You just know it.
I like that there is a clear sign to know.
Yep. And once you're diagnosed, there's a prescription eye drop treatment available for Demodex blepharitis.
Whew. That is good to know.
To learn about the common symptoms of Demodex blepharitis and more, visit miteslovelids.com. Again, that's miteslovelids.com to learn more. This ad is brought to you by Tarsus Pharmaceuticals. All right, so I know I just ranted about the fact that I'm going to be an absolute mess when I have presbyopia, but I will understand. I will understand that I'm just aging. I'm getting older. And this works for so many things, like just plastic surgery and just this obsession with not showing your age, not saying the wrong thing because it makes you sound old. I don't know. Maybe I'm just becoming a crotchety old man, but like presbyopia is in this range, this spectrum of aging. It's aging. That's what presbyopia is. It's natural aging. And yeah, it's a pain in the ass to have to wear reading glasses, but like what we are like doing to ourselves and like paying all this money to try to avoid reading glasses or using these drops that make our eyes red and irritated and difficult to see in dim light and give us headaches. Like, why can't I wish we could all just accept aging a little bit more. And I'm speaking to myself as well, you guys. Like it scares, I don't want to have to wear reading glasses. But like I will get there, and I understand that it's the aging process. And so when it comes to your eyes, and I'm not going to speak about, any other aging process because, that's people are, people have their own stuff they're dealing with, right? But from the eye standpoint, like it's okay to accept it. Put your reading glasses on. All right, they're very fashionable. Glasses are in these days, you guys. And don't start. I would not use these medications. They just And by the way, this new one, the great name, by the way, Viz. I like it. $79 a month, which includes 25 doses. 25 doses. So you're put, and it only lasts probably like 4 to 6 hours, right? So 25 doses, $80 a month. So it's a little over it's basically $3 for every drop. You put a drop in, that's $3 you're putting in your eye. And that adds up over time. $80 is a lot of money for a bottle of eye drops to do something that glasses will do. You can buy, a 10-pack of reading over-the-counter readers at Costco for $7. I don't know how much they cost, but they're cheap. You can put them in every room in the house. I don't know. The whole conversation around presbyopia, it's like it's at ophthalmology conferences. I know I'm kind of getting into the weeds here with this, guys, but it bothers me a little bit. We're so focused on we have to treat presbyopia, but the way we're doing it, some of these treatments, some of the lenses, they're just not as good. They're not as good as a regular old monofocal lens that gives you a good distance vision or good reading vision, and then you wear glasses for everything else. I want to see a society where we just accept glasses as we age. We're good at glasses, and they're, like I said, one of the most amazing disability accommodations ever invented. It's incredible, right? And it's generally accepted, but we just have to accept it as individuals. So that's my. I hope this reaches the right people, and I'm gonna do my best. You're gonna stick with me on this podcast because I'm about to turn 40, you guys. I'm almost there. I am almost there, and I am going to be going through it. All right. But remind me that I had this conversation with you. All right. Because I might need to hear it once or twice. It's okay to get old. It's okay. Your eyes age just like every other part of your body. All right, let's finish up with maybe a couple of comments here. The most recent episode that just was out on our YouTube channel at Glockenfleckens, by the way, go check it out. I read all these comments, had some good ones. This is an episode called The One Rule I Follow in Medical Comedy, which is basically don't make fun of patients. That's the rule. A lot of people really appreciated that. They agreed. At Simba 65315, golden rule of comedy, never punch down. Yep, because when you punch up, it's funny. When you punch across, it's funny. When you punch down, it's bullying. That's what it is. I don't remember saying this, but at Roberto Guerrero 8063 quoted something that I said in the episode where apparently I said, "Get your ballless ass out of here." I love it because I don't read these comments until like probably 2 weeks after I record the episode. And so I get reminded of some of the things I say, and that one made me laugh. It's like, I have no idea what the hell I was talking about, but I appreciate Roberto for reminding me. I love it. It's great. In this episode, I also showcased onion goggles that you can wear to protect you from the harmful chemicals coming from onions. So, let's see, at Lisa BMPLS said, how about an urgent care doctor character? Part emergency, part family medicine. I haven't thought about it that way. You're right. I haven't had an urgent care. I've had lots of people ask me to do urgent care. I haven't thought about doing like a half and half. You have the emergency get up, maybe just the glasses are skewed. That my sunglasses, my Oakley sunglasses are askew a little bit. I don't know. I gotta think about that one. It's a good idea. I love it. Urgent care. There's still a handful of doctors I haven't represented, and the people in those specialties remind me. All right, last one at Gustav Mahler 3228. Dr. Glock, great episode. Why do you pronounce it ophthalmology as opposed to ophthalmology? I feel like ophthalmology is too pretentious. I don't think it matters, honestly, but I feel like if I was like, oh yes, I'm a doctor of ophthalmology, like that sounds kind of dumb, doesn't it? It sounds like I'm trying to like make it seem more important than it is, even though it is the most important thing in the world. I say ophthalmology because it's just easier to say ophthalmology. That's too much. My mouth is doing gymnastics. There's too much going on. And trust me, ophthalmology, we have too many things going on and with the language of ophthalmology anyway. So I'm just going to make it as simple as possible. It just rolls off the tongue better. Ophthalmology. I don't like it. Ophthalmology is where it's at. All right. Thank you guys. That was Knock Knock Eye for today. I'm your host, Will Flannery, also known as Dr. Glockenflecken. Thanks to my executive producers, Aaron Corney, Rob Goldman, and Shanti Brook. Editor and engineers, Jason Portillo. Our music is by Omer Benzvi. And send comments, questions, concerns, anything eyeball related, even remotely tangentially eyeball related. I want to hear about it, okay? And give me some ideas for different diseases, things you want to know about. And we can even dabble into some non-ophthalmology if you want, but I'm always going to try to bring it back to the world of eyeballs. All right, that's it. Thank you all. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next time.
Knock, knock, goodbye.
Thanks for watching the episode. You can find more on that playlist over there. If you prefer to listen, or you just had your eyes dilated, you can binge full episodes wherever you get your podcasts, or join the party over on Patreon, where you get early access episodes, hang out with us, get lots of exclusive bonus content. Hope you subscribe, leave a comment below. Let us know what you think.